What's up, soldiers? Your boy Chris vibes it up in the kitchen. Early o'clock in the morning, kind of have a craving for baked beans. Ever since we were at the Burlington Rib Fest a while back, had a bit of a dispute with Taya because we bought the combo pack and the portion of baked beans was small. Didn't realize Taya had the same weakness as I do for baked beans. Ever since a child growing up on the islands, your boy had that weakness. And by the way, mommy, how come you never make baked beans for me? Always from a can. I have to give you a call, you know. Anyways, friends, we're going to make some baked beans from scratch. You're going to love this one with a sort of a Caribbean vibe to it. This one's going to take a while, so you will need some patience. Baked beans, well, we're not doing it in the oven. We're doing it on the stove top. We're baking. The second version of this I'm going to share with you later on down the road. It's going to be the sort of the student or the hack version, which is going to take less time. So have some patience and we're going to get to that one. Follow me on Instagram. You're going to see all the good things we always eating and sharing and all kind of thing going on there. So do share. Do connect with us on Instagram. Share. Boy, your boy real generous, eh? Yeah, man. Let me get cooking. We'll be doing this baked beans on the stove top. So we're not using the oven. It is summertime here in Canada. The place is very hot. So the last thing I want to do is turn on the oven. So I've got my nice clay pot here. You can use any pot you want. No grease, no oil, because I'm using some pieces of salted pigtail. Very fatty, and I know traditional recipes will call for bacon and bacon fat and stuff like that, but this is a Caribbean version, so we're using salted pigtail. If you have salted beef or salted neck or whatever you like using, you can certainly use that. It's been prepared, which means I've boiled it, I've cut it up into small pieces, and to remove most of the salt. If you're looking for a video on how to do that, check out my food FAQ channel. Low heat, no grease, as I said. Some sweet onions, and we just want that to sweat down, let some of that fat render, and to soften up that onion. It's going to take about 4 or 5 minutes. Time for some flavor ingredients, so we're going to go in with some black pepper, I've got here some allspice berries, if you've got ground allspice and you want to use ground allspice, you can certainly do that. Something which you don't necessarily have to use. I'm going to go in with a little bit of Scotch bonnet pepper. That's just for a little kick. And I've got here some allspice, just a pinch of that allspice, just for more of that Caribbean flavor. I've got here 2 cups of white pea bean, which I just picked through. You just got to separate any sort of sticks or any sort of stones or anything that's in there. It's been washed. You can soak it overnight if you want. I didn't soak it. You can certainly use pinto, or actually you got to crank up the heat now because we got to bring this up to a boil. You can use pinto or navy, any sort of white beans that you like using for this. I'm going to go in with a touch of cider vinegar, just a little bit more. Some Worcestershire. A good dose of brown sugar. About ½ cup of tomato ketchup. And we need some liquid in there, so I'm going to go in with about 3 cups of chicken stock. And you'll notice I won't be using any salt in this dish because the remaining salt from that salted pigtail, as well as the sodium from this chicken stock, will be enough to flavor this. And I'm going to go in with 2 cups of water as well. A couple more ingredients to go in there. I've got some molasses. Oh, you gotta love the texture and consistency of molasses. It's gonna be nice and sticky and gooey in there. As well as some prepared mustard. If you want to use mustard powder, you can certainly use mustard powder. Still gotta go in with some water. We're gonna bring that up to a boil. And then it is all about patience. That's gonna take about 3 hours in total, but we gotta bring that up to a boil. I gotta add 2 cups of water to that still. Bring that up to a boil. It took a few minutes, come up to a boil now, so all I'm gonna do is turn my heat down to as low as it can go. Actually, if you've got a smaller burner, you can move it to the small burner. Put the lid on there and let that go gentle as possible until everything goes nice and tender. It's going to take about 3 hours, so you really need some patience. It's been about 2 hours and 45 minutes. One of the things I forgot to mention to you all, you will have to stir it, especially the bottom. We tend to stick because there's a lot of sugars in here from that, the brown sugar, the molasses, the natural sugars from the beans itself. You will have to keep stirring it, especially the bottom here, sort of scrape it, because it may have the tendency to stick. The beans are nice and plump now. You still got to keep it going another 15-20 minutes, but it's smelling wicked. I just turned my stove off. It's been going now for 3.5 hours in total. This is a clay pot that I'm using, so I know it's going to continue cooking because it retains a lot of heat. My beans are a little bit runny, but I know it's going to thicken up because it's going to continue cooking. Remember, we have those allspice berries in here, so fish those out, discard it. Taste it for salt, but because we use that salted pigtail in there, you should be fine with the salt. But again, your tolerance for salt will be different than mine. You can use the back of a spoon to crush some of the beans if you really want this nice and thick. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. My take on the perfect Caribbean style baked beans. We didn't bake it, we stove topped it. But you're gonna love this one. That salted pigtail. You're looking for a nice Caribbean twist in there, you know, boy. Always a pleasure to have you guys here in the kitchen with me. You gotta give this one a try, man. Bless up.